Firstly, I'd like to express my gratitude and enthusiasm for being part of the launch. I think it's an incredible initiative. I want to start by focusing on the importance of two words, right? And these words are "Hello World." Now, for those of you who are less familiar, this is generally accepted as the first sentence that you get to program to display on the screen when you're learning to code, regardless of the program that you're using. And in this challenge, kids will get the chance to show off their coding ability using Scratch as a language, which I think is great given how intuitive it is, how colorful, how fun, and how powerful the platform is as well. But why am I focusing on these two words? Well, coding as a skill has given birth to many millions of mainstream applications. This could be represented in the form of analytics, right, that you'd have on your phone, or you'd have in a boardroom for a multinational company, or the usage statistics, or the news, the data you're seeing on the news about the pandemic or anything else like that. So coding has given birth to solutions like analytics. But at the same time, coding as a skill has given birth to or contributed to the successes that we've seen in numerous industries like aerospace. If you think about the number of lines of code it would take to get a space shuttle into orbit, you're talking in the trillions of lines of code. But a single error in one line of code could be catastrophic, right? And the importance of the skill of coding and its relevance in progressing technology is phenomenal. If you think about artificial intelligence, and specifically machine learning, what humans have done is they've given machines the ability to learn and get smarter. And what that means is that the need for coding in some context gives way to a need to then qualify the outcomes and the relevance of machine-driven logic, algorithms, or rules. So the role of the human in future technologies begins to evolve. And as we adapt these technologies, we tend to take on the ones that have convenience factors for humans and for other life on the planet. Solutions like autonomous or self-driving cars that allow us to move away from this need to own a vehicle and rather to think about making use of a service to get you from point A to point B. And the quality of the code in a solution like this ensures that you get to your destination, to that point B, with no major incident taking place. So what can we gauge about coding and the future skills that today's youth would need to consider acquiring in order to work the jobs of tomorrow? Well, when many people think about the future of work and the fourth industrial revolution or artificial intelligence, it's normal to be concerned about machines taking the jobs of people. But in reality, a host of new jobs will be created as we choose to adopt the technologies and to work alongside it. So as an example, people inspecting a production line or a piece of equipment in manufacturing will be able to harness a technology like augmented reality, which will let them see the context of a machine by overlaying a camera or an image on top of the device or component that they're looking at and that they're trying to fix. And what this means is that any issues with the equipment becomes more transparent, and it's easier for the company to start predicting when the error might occur. As a result, maintenance becomes smarter, it becomes more accurate, it becomes cheaper in the long run, and employees get to focus their time and their energy on where it really matters. When it comes to working with technology, another example would be for highly skilled jobs. Doctors, for example, would be able to look at patient information and statistics on how an operation is going while they are working on the patient. Right? Making a decision about which procedure to carry out is backed by data. Replacement body parts, such as a knee joint, could potentially be printed on demand while they are performing the procedure. And all of the support staff can feel comfortable in the fact that they know that the best possible procedure or sequence is taking place in the positive intended outcome for the patient, because they can see the context and the statistics and the data at the same time that the doctors can as well. So I'm sure you can see that code has the ability to influence many aspects of life as we know it, and also life as we will become to know it. But how does that translate to today's youth? Right? My opinion is that children of all ages need to learn to build. They just need to build things. Whether they're building using Lego, whether they're building robots, or they're creating craft using sticks and cardboard, what they need to do is they need to build. And it's the same principle that I try to instill with my children. who, by the way, are the perfect age to take part in the challenge as well. So I'm nudging them to do that. But in my view, children definitely need to learn how to take one thing and another thing and put the two together to make something new. And coding is just one important component, one ingredient of this mindset that they need to achieve. And this is why. It's not necessarily the coding that sticks in all jobs, in all companies, in all industries forever. Instead, it's the appreciation of how to design and architect solutions that will stick for a much longer time. So when the need arises to walk into a situation and to deconstruct or troubleshoot a drone or a robot or software program, they understand how the stuff works, and they become comfortable with the process of architecting, making it easier to identify how best to maintain or repair or to improve the solution that they're looking at. That skill, building on a solid foundation of learning to code, will build the confidence and skill to walk into any situation and to identify a problem and a way to fix it. So for context on why I'm sitting here talking to you today, let me briefly share my story. Those two words, hello world, have taken me on a journey throughout my career. They've opened doors in the many countries that I've been fortunate to live in, the numerous cities and countries that I've been fortunate to work in and then to travel to for leisure as well. They've opened doors to the many projects with global companies across multiple industry sectors that I've been fortunate to work on and continue to work on. And these experiences, based on that important foundation of learning to code, allow me to take a simple recipe for success, right? And that is to look at data for a particular problem, and we know the world's full of data, and then to take the data and convert that to find patterns and to find anomalies and to try and make a story out of the patterns and anomalies that will indicate where an issue exists or where a potential solution lies. And then to apply some formal training around change management or business management or innovation to help leaders of companies understand how that technology can shape their business and their impact on the world. So what that manifests to in today's version of what I do is a series of meetings or projects or articles that I get involved in to try and help people understand what the future of work, what the future of life, what the future of society could look like if we embrace technology. And as a result of those two words, hello world, all of this is now manifesting in these different avenues and channels. But what about the future of learning? Right? We've already seen a shift. We see kids operating remotely, teachers, parents operating remotely in a bubble. Obviously that trend will continue at different rates of change around the world. But the nature of learning will evolve. Right? We've seen the rise of digital, online access to content for students, but students will want everything on demand in their own time. The learning programs will need to become more customized or tailored to each student over time. The focus will be on the outcome of learning instead of being on making progress through a particular curriculum. And most importantly, the expectation will be that learning eventually becomes democratized. And what that means is that it's available to everybody free of charge. But most importantly, learning should continue to be fun, right? It should be awesome. Kids should want to learn stuff. And this is why I'm extremely excited that the African Code Challenge is rising to the challenge and finding a way for the youth of today to define exactly how they would like to make learning in tomorrow's world just as fun. So with that, I thank you for your attention. I invite you to feel free to get in touch with me. Emails there. Also on LinkedIn, if you want to continue the discussion after the session. But thank you so much. Back to you.